Hey everybody, and welcome back to episode 7 of So Yeah About That. I am your host, Wani Williams, yet again. Nice to see y'all, if you're back again. I wanted this episode to be about girl sister circles, like what is the qualities of being friends. I feel like a lot of the times when it comes down to girls trying to find friends specifically, I mean, I can only speak from my experience. I'm somebody who makes friends in my head rather quickly, but I realize that that is actually a lie. I do not make friends quickly. I think I screen friends, and I'm willing to screen friends rather quickly. So I feel like every girl has the screen friendship test, where basically you might see them at an event and you just kind of click. You're talking and it's fun, and you see, oh, they kind of match my energy, they match my vibe, and it's like super dope because it's like, I'm just like, okay, like this is cool, like we could talk about anything. And after 30 minutes to an hour goes by and 2 hours go by, and now it's like, oh, we're leaving, and you realize that you might have a friend. And that starts the screen test. And this is like is she down? Like, is she actually really cool, or kind of like no? But I do feel like society has this thing set out for us where it's like, if you didn't grow up with them, you can't really trust them. Like they're the people who you knew in high school. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't have many of my friends from high school. Not that it was bad or anything. It's just the idea of who actually stays in contact with you when you are in college, through college, after college. So I feel like you have so many friends from freshman year through senior year in high school, and then when you get to college, you like say like, oh yeah, we're gonna talk to each other and we're gonna this, and just life just doesn't happen like that. Especially when, like, for me, I'm at Old Westbury and you got friends that are in like California or Binghamton, or it's just really across the world and different experiences. You have those friends who go to the HBCUs, and then you have the ones that stay kind of local. So, as the years go on, you kind of like separate yourself even more and even more and even more. And then you kind of see like who's really in my corner. So I feel like once you get to about like 24, which is my age, and maybe even before this, you start to do the whole like friendship screening, sister circle, girlfriends thing. And you might do it where maybe you go out with your boyfriend and you see the girls that are around, in that time, or maybe you go out with your sisters and you see that, or your sorority sisters, and you see some people who you kind of click with, or maybe you get a new job and you're working with some people and it's like, all right, cool. Like they're all cool. But the screen test is you invite them to an event, like it's like, okay, I'm going to go do something with my family. Did you want to come? Or, hey, we're all going to this. Did you want to go? You kind of throw it in there, and this is the test of it all. And if they say yeah, then you're like, all right, cool. Like that, you see if you can continue to not get the same vibe that you had when you first met, but recreate that vibe and recreate that sense of like, okay, like, is this a person that I can genuinely be cool with? Because I feel like as women, and when we get together and we start our conversation over a glass of wine or two, you start to say things that maybe you shouldn't, in a sense, or maybe like you overshare a little bit, or some people would say it's being over friendly, because I feel like now too in society we do big up each other in a sense where it's like, okay, I'm gonna be somebody who is gonna be empowering to women, so I can go ahead and look good at a party, and you have no problem once you're a certain age going and complimenting another woman at a party for being just as beautiful, and I think that that's a positive thing that we do as women. And I think shout outs to all of us that do that. Whenever we go out, we make sure we shout out each other, even if you don't know them. And I think that that's genuinely how it starts, because if you have enough in you to not hate on the next person, then like, hey, like you're good to go. So the sister screening test, I would say, you try to see if you have similar conversations, similar places, similar, relationships, and you kind of like just connect and click, and you take them out again and again, and eventually you kind of see like, is this somebody I genuinely like or dislike? I don't think it's necessarily being fake, because you can't off the rip meet somebody and just be super close, but I do think that it's hard, because in your head you are, like you go out to an event and you wind up really, really, really clicking with somebody that's at that event, and in that time and space you guys are like the closest friends. Like I don't know anybody like who might experience this, but I know I do. You got your glass of wine and you're just chatting, or you guys are all at a party and you're just vibing and you're just really being honest, because hey, at that point you're all just strangers. So you being completely honest, truthfully, might not matter, because you might not see this person ever again. It is a small world, so be careful, but you might not see this person ever again. So hey, what the hell? Tell them everything you want to tell them, mix, mingle, see if that is a thing. And if it really clicks, invite them out. Do it a few times, not once, not twice. Invite them out and see if there is an actual vibe. I think that that is you just genuinely getting to know people. I think as women, we need to also take each other out on dates. Like, everybody wants to go out on a date with a guy so that he can pay, or maybe not so that he can pay. That's probably bad. But, go out with somebody that you can entertain in that way, because what girl doesn't love attention? Yeah. But I think the same way we hold guys accountable to make sure that you're treated correctly, you want to screen your friends too to make sure that they're being really good friends. I feel like in the time that I've decided to do my screening test on the low, and I'm not going to say you go around and meet new people and you're like, this is the screen test. No, that's not how it works. It kind of just happens. And in the back of your head, you're going, okay, you got this little checklist. And I feel like this is what people do when they want to make new friends. And like I said, I don't have many friends from high school. I don't have many friends from college. I do have friends that I will definitely say get honorable mentions, in the sense that you've made it through high school and you've made it through college. If you're still here, shout outs to y'all. And like I said, I don't think just because you don't consider somebody a friend doesn't necessarily mean that there's beef or that there's issues, because there's friends that I do have, or maybe not, I won't say friends, but acquaintances that I do have, that when you link up and meet up, it's that same energy as if you've never left, you've never missed a day. You got stories on stories on stories. I have college friends like that is just stories when you link up. You may not talk every day, and it may not be a thing that you do all the time, but you do know that when you do link up, it is always a vibe. It is always fun. You can always speak on that. I think it's great when I see people from college that are still cool, really, really, really tight. I think that's super dope. Something I always wanted to find that clique that I could just be like, yeah, that's my go-to girl, but I don't really have that, just yet. And that's okay. I feel like at the end of the day, I still have to work on myself in that way, and eventually it'll all make sense. But back to the sister screening test. When you do your sister screening test, you maybe take them out and you do some extravagant thing. Maybe it's just a family event. You invite them over and you just see if the vibe is there. And if it is, you continue to do it. And then eventually you have this dope friendship. I think that it comes in circles, and definitely there's different tests for different people, because not everybody is the same. But at the end of the day, I think that you should definitely go on dates to make sure that you guys are all still friends. Maybe you met 4 really dope women that are really cool at one event, and now you want to go out and do another event with these girls. You guys meet at a sip and paint where everybody bought their boyfriends, and now 4 of you want to just get together and go out. And I think that that's amazing. And you do that a few times and a few more times and a few times. And before you know it, you got my girlfriends, or if not, then, it doesn't happen and you keep interchanging them. So at the end of the day, I think that the next point I have to that is not everybody is going to be the same every single time. So yeah, maybe you might have liked a group of people for one event or one thing that you might have done, and then that transpired, and now you're doing a couples only event. You realize that one of the girls are kind of single, so you don't really invite that girl. I don't think that doesn't mean that you're not cool with that person. I think that's just, as a host, there's a time and a place, or if you know what kind of vibe you're going for, this person's not going to meet that vibe. So if I'm bringing my boyfriend and she's bringing her boyfriend, maybe bringing you along with the single vibes might not be the best bet, but it does not mean that you didn't pass the screening test of the sister circle vibes. Just saying. I think it's just, you have friends for different uses. And I think that it's misconstrued that if you have a best friend, it's I got to do everything together. You know what I mean? I think that girls do that too. We as women, we just constantly believe that if you do have that really good friend, they're supposed to be there for everything. And that doesn't always happen, because everybody is at different stages and phases of life, not to be compared. So if somebody wants to be around couples, or they want to be around mothers, or they want to be around, that respectfully, it's okay to not have they're not any less of your friend or good friend if you're not at this different event that they're at. So I do think that we need to let that be debugged of just yeah, she'd be at everything. Yeah, she should probably be at your wedding if she's that close to you and whatever the case may be. But if you see she's still living a single life at age 30 and she's enjoying that, and she wants to be the mixy girl, or she wants to be inside that, she might not even want to go to the couples only event. She might not want that vibe. She might not want that energy. It does not make her any less of a friend, and or made it seem like the screen test wasn't passed. But yeah, it's just the idea that there is a test that's in place, just as we be scoping out our guys out here to see who I'm going to give the time of day. Not everybody deserves your energy, like I said way back in another podcast. So you need to protect that and make sure that your mental is always good. And whoever you have to cut out, crop out, or glue back in to ensure that happens for different specific events, do it. definitely make sure you always are achieving what you want to achieve and doing what you want to do and growing. I feel like never stop growing. I do have this obsession with not flowers exactly, but I really do love the growing process of flowers. And I do think that it's a perfect example of the human, in a sense of you're planting your seed and you grow, and you need to be nurtured and cared for and looked over, and a little sunlight. It rains, and when it rains, it's not always the funnest things. You sometimes sleep it off or whatever the case may be, in order to make yourself kind of feel better. It might be sleeping through the rain, but flowers really go through a whole dynamic, beautiful process that I think should be reciprocated in all of the things that we do and all of the relationships, to make sure that we're continuously growing. So definitely do your sister circle screening test. I'm always doing my sister circle screening test in the back of my head, even if y'all don't think I am. If you've probably caught on to the fact of this test, I apologize if you're offended about the way that I kind of pick my friends and or vibe out in a certain way in what I want to do. But there is a certain lifestyle that I want to live, and a certain, persona that I want to maintain, that I am in love with. And I want to make sure that that is always kept at a amazing mental space, because that's how it starts with, you have a happy day, then you have a happy week, which leads to a happy month, which leads to a happy year, which leads to a happy lifestyle, as said by Joy and Inside Out. So definitely make sure you guys are constantly checking in with your friends or just people who you vibe out with. And it's not a bad thing to kind of search back. I challenge all of you to search back into your high school friends or college friends that you don't necessarily have bad issues with or issues with at all, just to check on them. Like, I know I have a few friends that I haven't spoke to in so many years that I don't even have issues with, that I used to be close with, girls who used to do my hair during gym. We used to go to lunch together sometimes, like in high school, and I have no problems with them. We just kind of like, I went to Old Westbury, they went somewhere else, and it's not like you've necessarily had a bad falling out or anything. It's just, you grew up. But it doesn't mean that you can't go back and hit them up on Instagram or something and be like, hey girl, how you doing? I noticed when you need to do this. Remember when you used to do that? If you have a story, you have something that you want to tell, do it. And I think that it's probably what guys do as well. You want to make sure that the person that's out is a vibe and is a dope personality and somebody that can mesh with the group that's there as well. And I challenge all of you guys to really reach out there and maybe get your sister circles to be different, get those vibes to be different. But yeah. So about that, tune in to next week's episode, if not another week or another day. I don't know. I've been dropping episodes whenever they come to mind. And this was one of them that I was thinking about last night, because of the idea that I'm just like, yo, there's like literally this like sister circle test, and I don't think people know about it. So I feel like, I don't know if I put people on a game or if I just refreshed their memory of what this is, but another friendship thing is just another friendship thing. So love y'all. See y'all whenever I drop the next. So about that episode. So about that.